4 millennia, man has pigs on a spit. So you'd think it would be an easy thing to do. Not so. A lot of things can go wrong when you grill a pig on a spit. You might think the pig is ready in 5 hours, and 2 hours later, it's charred on the outside, and it's still raw on the inside. Your friends are about ready to go home. It might rain. The rain might extinguish the fire, it might douse the pig, and slow down the cooking. Your prongs might slip on the spit. While the spit is still turning, the pig just hangs there still. It gets burned on one side. As the pig cooks, the spine gets loose, and the imbalance gets bigger and bigger, and eventually your motor just dies. When you're done grilling, and you start to carve the pig, a piece of perfectly good meat, or heaven forbid, an entire leg or the entire pig might fall on the ground. And think about it, all that dripping fat and those ashes, and what a mess it is to clean up afterwards. So in the next 5 minutes, I will show you that there are engineering solutions to all of these problems. I have 30 years experience grilling pigs. My first attempt was actually a very modest one. It was a hastily assembled frame with a single spit and a hand crank on the side. Simple, but far from perfect. Because as that pig was on that spit, the fat kept dropping into the fire, and the fire flared up, charring the pig. I thought I was done in 5 hours. But as I mentioned, 2 hours later, the pig was still charred on the outside and still raw inside. And I was rapidly running out of friends who were willing to put a glove on, sitting close to the fire, turning this thing, because thank God I had a beard. So clearly, my next grill had to have a motor. And my father-in-law gave me this portable grill for little pigs that was fueled by charcoal. The charcoal was put on a tray, and that tray was suspended with some chains, and I could actually lower and raise that. Better, but still not good, because it would only hold a 40-pound pig. And who wants to drill only little pigs? Then I had to use charcoal. It wouldn't take any wood. And the flare-up stuff was still rankling. So it was clear. The next grill had to have a vertical firebox, so that there was no chance that any fat could drop into the fire and make it flare up. So I welded together this 6-foot-long vertical firebox and suspended it on a frame 15 feet wide with bars on the top and a bar at the bottom on each side. So you could lay a spit across and just move that spit closer and farther away from the fire as you want. Now the neat thing about this was I could grill 4 pigs at the same time, 2 on each side, one lower, one upper, and it would hold 100-pound pigs. Really cool. The problem here, however, was I needed 4 motors. And once you put the motors on the spit, moving those spits was a 2-man job. And sometimes the motors worked themselves free of the spit, and the pig would stop turning and got burned on one side. And worst of all, it took my youngest son to assemble that grill, because he was the only one small enough to crawl inside the firebox and tighten those bolts in that small space. So after about 10 years, finally, the sun was too big to fit into the firebox, and the grill rusted out, so it was time to build a new one. So this summer, I designed and built the culmination of 30 years of pig grill design history and experience. So this thing had to have a vertical firebox. As you can see, it's right there. And I put a nice tray underneath that would catch all the ashes and could easily be removed. And it is flexible. You can go and build and grill 2 pigs at the same time, or even it has space for 5 spits, where you can put 12 chickens each on each. 60 chickens at the same time, because who wants to eat pigs all the time? And then you can easily put the spits in and take them out. No assembly required. They just drop it. And it has at the bottom there a variable speed control for the spits, because pigs and chickens run at different speeds. So, all of this is on 2 carts. The firebox on one cart, the rotisserie on the other one, so you can move them apart or you can put them closer together to regulate the heat. Great. And on top of that is a roof, so the rain won't fall me anymore. And then the back of the firebox is just a whole wall of fire bricks. So they heat up and they create a very even heat going forward, so the cooking times become predictable. They protect against the wind, and by the way, you can then feed the fire from the back without getting too hot. And then underneath the rotisserie is this catcher for all the grease. And the grease comes in there and it just rolls handily and nicely into a bucket at the end of the grill. The spits themselves are square, and the prongs are easily removable. No slippage here anymore. And when you're done, and you pull the rotisserie away from the fire, so in the cool area you can start carving, there's a tray underneath where if any meat falls down, it gets caught in this nice stainless steel tray, and you can just carry it in and won't lose a morsel. Now, all of this is naturally built out of stainless steel, because I'm not going to design another grill and it's going to outlast me, it's going to outlast my kids and my kids' kids. So in summary, 30 years of experience grilling and building pig grills resulted in a grill that can take a couple 100-pound pigs, a few pieces of big meat, or lots of chicken. It's whatever we want. Now, admittedly, this thing is a little over-engineered. But it's very easy to operate. And what would you expect from a German engineer?